Okay, first of all, I think you've convinced me over the past 2 years that we've been doing this that voting needs to be harder. I used to be one of these people who just didn't think about it
Mm,
very deeply and was like, yeah, sure, let's get more people voting. Let's get everyone voting. It needs to be easier. No, it doesn't. I think I agree with you now. It needs to be harder. And first, mail-in ballots, what a bunch of BS. One of the reasons
right.
they extended the COVID hysteria as long as they have and the lockdown measures as long as they have is what's that Rahm Emanuel quote? Never let a crisis go to waste. They wanted to be able to do mail-in voting. They wanted to be able to do mail-in voting. And so that should be number one on our agenda with elections going forward. You have to be in person with your frickin' ID to vote. What is so hard about that, with some limited exceptions for military who are overseas, if you're an
I think it's
invalid or
interesting that
something, that's
leftists are
it.
like, I think it's interesting that leftists are like, they all believe no leftist argues that you should be able to drive without a driver's license.
Yeah.
But you definitely should be able to vote without any kind of ID. That's a thing. Like,
Bullshit. You can't do anything without an ID, but you're supposed to be able to vote and from home. You don't even have to get up off your couch. Like, no, you need to go. If it means something to you, you should be standing in line. You should be going in person. You should be proving you are who you say you are. But that would, if we believe it, this country is so divided right now, and it's not along red and blue, although that's what they try to make it. They try to manufacture that, and then people make it that. But it's not that. It's what you've said. It's authoritarian and libertarian. And there were liberals out at that Trump rally with signs that said "liberal here," who wants a fair elections. I want to
right.
trust my election process. I want to recount. And so, oh, hold on one second. There's a lot of dogs here. It's the mailman. Yeah, there's a lot of dogs here today. But we should be able to trust the election process. We are divided. And I think one of the first things they need to do is to help us. You know what should be first on a Biden's agenda? And it's not going to be, but it should be, hey, we're going to fix this. No more mail-in voting. We're going to get rid of untrustworthy machines with glitches. We're going to do voting in person.
Well, I mean,
with an ID.
Obviously, that's not what they want, right?
No, that's not what they want.
Right. And the thing that I think is one of our Achilles heels is we've become so comfortable and so patriotic in a good way. Like we're so used to America being America and different from the rest of the world that when someone suggests that we could have elections that are somehow less than perfect, it's like, well, we're not. It's not like we're Russia. Why not? Why isn't it like we're Russia? What makes us different? Do our voting machines magically is there something magically different about us? There's nothing different about us. There's nothing fundamentally different about us versus any other place. We can have fraud and abuse and corruption just like anywhere else. We're not magical. There's nothing magical about us. Our ideas are better. The foundation of this country is better. It's better ideas. We have better ideas, better laws from the foundation, and we've been chipping away at them as long as possible. Other than that, there's nothing, it's like Americans are magically incapable of cheating in elections. But yeah, you don't have to show your ID. And that to me is, it tells you all you really need to know. And I wouldn't even say, like, someone mentioned dip your finger in the purple ink. Like in some countries they do that. I kind of like that. Like, all right, dip your finger in purple ink. Now, something that's like, you can't vote twice. It's very clear. Now, those countries, I think they do it probably because they don't have IDs. I don't like the idea of actually having and being forced to have an ID generally. However, being forced to have an ID to vote, I don't know. That's not a stretch too far. Like voting is kind of important and you're trying to participate in the process. So being able to prove who you are and that you have a right to participate in the process and that you've only done it once, those seem like reasonable things.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? And they don't have an answer. Their answer is always condescending or racist. Like they're the ones who are like, oh, well, because black people don't know how to get IDs, right? And like they don't know how to use computers to register to vote because their reasoning is so ridiculous.
Right. And it never, no one ever says the uncomfortable thing, which is If someone doesn't know how to get an ID and doesn't know how to vote, they shouldn't vote. Those people are too dumb. If that's what you're saying.
And that's not, but they try to make that, they try to say that's black people. That's not black people.
Of course it's not black people.
There are dumb people or lazy, unmotivated people of every race and sex and sexuality who will not.
They're just making that up.
Yeah. Right, of course, but that's the point. And I've seen numerous videos. If you guys haven't seen them, there's lots of videos out there where people actually go out and interview white leftists who are spreading these racist rumors and lies about how black people are too dumb to get IDs. And then they go and interview just random black folks on the street who are like, yeah, I have an ID. If I didn't have one, I know where the post office is. Like they're just kind of like pointing out like, yeah,
how would I drive?
And,
how would I get into a bar?
Mm-hmm.
How would I do anything? Like,
how would I do anything? What a weird lie to spread.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's a racist lie, but they don't even believe it and they don't care. And everyone is afraid to say the obvious. To me, there's just an obvious retort, which is you need dumb people to be voting? Like that's you imagine there's some group of people out there who's literally too dumb to figure out how to get an ID, and those are the people that you're really concerned about making sure can vote? What kind of candidate are you running? Like, what kind of person are you running for office that you need dumb people or you're not going to win? Yeah. That's a red flag.
Or lazy people. Lazy people.